Netflix's new versions of Thor and Loki in The Sandman Season 2 are vastly different characters from the two MCU heroes that have dominated pop culture. The fantasy TV show is an adaptation of the influential DC comic series, following Tom Sturridge's Dream, a member of the mysterious Endless and personification of dreams. After escaping a 100-year imprisonment in Season 1, The Sandman Season 2 sees Dream setting out to right his greatest mistakes. To do so, he is brought into contact with several new faces. This includes fellow members of the Endless and icons of several fantasy tales and deities of varying mythologies, including the Norse gods. The Sandman Season 2's Thor and Loki characters are much different from the MCU versions. The Sandman's Norse heroes are a stark difference from what audiences may be familiar with. In Season 2, Dream is tricked by Lucifer, Gwendoline Christie, into inheriting Hell when they tire of the role. As Dream assumes this new mantle, he is immediately greeted by delegations from several mythological pantheons. One party is led by Odin, Clive Russell, alongside Thor, Lawrence Ofwarane, and Loki, Freddie Fox. These representations are dramatically distinct from the three characters' MCU counterparts, portrayed by Anthony Hopkins, Chris Hemsworth, and Tom Hiddleston. Rather than beings from another world with technology that could be seen as magic by humans, these are genuine deities. Their familial ties also differ from how Marvel chose to approach the lore. Within the MCU, Thor and Loki are brothers torn apart by family secrets and the burden of ruling. The truth of his parentage and the desire for the crown turn Loki to villainy, but the pair still have a close bond and love for one another. Even after all their battles, Thor and Loki's familial ties endure. Furthermore, while Thor is the boastful, but good-hearted and heroic biological child of Odin in the MCU, Loki is an adopted child. A frost giant taken in by Odin during one of his conquests, Loki is a more tragic and sympathetic figure despite his villainy. As such, he is given the opportunity to be a hero in his own right. In The Sandman, the Norse gods who are part of the delegation to the Dreaming are very different, ultimately grittier. For starters, they wear humbler, darker clothes when compared to Marvel's armored figures. Furthermore, their dynamics draw closer to the myths that inspired them. How The Sandman's Thor and Loki are closer to Norse mythology depictions. The characters evoke more of their mythological traits and feats. The Sandman's Norse party is not the close family unit of the MCU, but instead a much more conflicted group. Dream states that before trying to claim Hell, Loki was imprisoned beneath the world, and was only freed early because Odin was desperate. In Norse myth, Loki was bound and tortured as punishment for the death of Balder. Furthermore, Thor is quick to state that Loki is no family to him, despite Loki's insistence that he is one of the Aesir. This, too, is a more faithful adhesion to Norse myth, where, despite him being a god himself, Loki is closer to an uncle. This also explains why he and Odin have a somewhat more cooperative relationship. Despite this, Loki still conducts some of his trickery by posing as Susanoo no Mikoto, Christopher Kamiyasu, to escape being returned to his imprisonment beneath the earth. To do so, he uses his powers as a shape-changer, only noticed by Dream himself. This is an element that matches both his mythological characterization and his MCU counterpart. However, in another deviation from Marvel's interpretation, Thor is more antagonistic than Loki, causing conflict with the party of demons after trying to flirt with Lady Merkin, Olamide Candice Johnson. While this is comparable to Thor's earlier arrogant MCU characterization, this Thor lacks the humility that Marvel's hero learns, as seen when he states his many mythological deeds. As Dream is able to end things amicably with both the Norse party and Loki in The Sandman, the three Norse gods would become recurring characters within the comic series. However, with The Sandman ending, this vision of Norse mythology's full story will not be adapted to the screen.